This video is one of a series numbered 1 to 8, which cover the basic concepts of the primary mathematics curriculum.
Okay, we're going to look at dice now. Dice are a very versatile aid that you can use in maths, and we've got a range of different kinds here. So this is what I would call a digit cube or a digit dice, and you can see it's got numbers on it. This one is the traditional dotty dice, and then you can use them for other topics. So this would be for a game on fractions, time, there's clock dice here, and then shapes. And there's many other things that you can draw on the faces of the cubes to make teaching aids and aids for games. So we're going to look at different ways that you can make dice. The simplest way is to make a net. So you use a ruler and a pen, and you draw your grid lines in squares. So here we've got them about 3.5 centimetre squares here. One of the simplest ways to use is just to use a ruler and draw lines with a ruler and then draw lines across. It saves you measuring. To make a net, so a net is 6 squares arranged together that when they fold together will make a cube. And there are many, many different nets. Probably the simplest one is the T shape that I've taken out here. So if I get a pen, pencil, I'll carry on drawing the grid here. So I'm using the width of the ruler, which just saves me having to measure it. So as I said, one of the simplest grids is the T shape, so you need 3 squares going across and 4 going down. Get it out. And you can see this is a lovely, shiny, silvery piece of card that you may think is a very expensive resource, but actually it's not. This cost me nothing. I'll show you what it is now. So you can see what we're actually using is a drinks carton, a juice carton. That's a nice foil lined. And the advantage of this is that you can wipe it down if it gets dirty. And it's quite hard, quite robust. Okay, so I've made my net. And then if you use the ruler to get a nice crease along the lines. Okay, and then you bend them back. And you can see how you can make your dice by just sellotaping. Use a bit of sellotape. And then, okay, so you tape it all together, and there you go, one dice. Okay, if you're lucky enough to find a box that's square in cross section, then you can very easily make dice from this. You could just cut it and make your dice out of the box like this, but the problem then is you've got the coloured outer surface that you would then have to cover with paper or paint. So if you dismantle the box and you turn it inside out, then you can actually make your dice, and you've got plain sides. So what you need to do is to find out what the side of the dice measures, and then measure the same down. So this one is 7 centimetres. So I've measured down 7 centimetres from either side. If I cut down the middle here, it means I can actually make 2 dice from this box. So put it together. Use some sellotape. this way, and if you just cut here, cut here, and cut here, fold along the lines. And then if you fold this in, and again, a bit of sellotape. And there you go. One easy dice. Another one, again, if you've got a cube, you might find a nice cube-shaped box. And what I've done with this one is to make a dice where you can change the sides. So this is just scrap plastic. So you take sort of packaging plastic, okay, like this. So this is just some old plastic packaging. Cut. There it is. So you cut a piece, fold it in half. So what you're going to be doing is making a pocket to slide your dice side in. So you stick down the back of it first. Fold it carefully, press it down. Stick the bottom as well. Then stick the top part down. And then you leave the top. You've got your little pocket so you can slide in. So here we've got an example of a dotty dice, but you can change it. You could maybe put some shapes in. You could put digit numbers in, you could put fractions in, you could put clock faces in, anything you like. So there you go. One nice large, and this would be large enough to use with the class. Finally, this is a very, very simple dice to make, and you don't actually need any materials at all to make this. You start with your cardboard tube, you flatten it. Try and get it as flat as you possibly can. Then line up your creases, flatten it again. Okay, so you've now got it square in cross section. Now, what you have to be very careful of is that you find out what one side measures. So you can take your ruler, and this one is 3.5 centimeters. So you measure down 3.5 centimeters and another 3.5 centimeters. Draw a line across. And then cut along here. Now, if you haven't got a ruler and you can't measure, then what you can actually do is just cut a small piece off the bottom, and then this was obviously one side, so you could use this to measure down and to mark, and measure down and mark. So even if you haven't got a ruler, it's very easy to make this. Now what you do is you cut carefully along your lines. You don't need that piece. And what you've ended up with now is 2 cubes, but you've got no top and bottom. So you take the one, you turn it at right angles to the other one, you slip it inside, and there you go. One very simple dice. Now you can use tape on it to smarten it up, but actually there's no need. Okay, there you go. 1 tube dice. More detail about the resources in this video and others can be found in this booklet, Numeracy for All, Resources for Teaching Mathematics. a guide for teachers and trainers on how to make and use low-cost or no-cost teaching and learning aids to encourage active and playful learning for maths in the classroom. Okay, let's go and teach some maths.
These videos are from a partnership between VSO International and the MESH Initiative. Both organisations have a commitment to share knowledge freely around the world for the benefit of teachers and learners.